Okay, got us connected. Frank, are you there?
Yes, Dr. Randy. I'll introduce you guys in a minute. Were you able to? Oh. Yes, Dr. Randy, I'll introduce you guys in a minute.
Sounds great. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
You ready, Ben?
Hold on 1 second.
It's just us tonight. Three, two, one, go.
The recording has started.
Greetings, family. Welcome to another one of your Frank 26 UB-Tubies. It's good to be with you. It is the 5th of October, 2022. I greet you in agape love. We are KTFalways.com. It stands for Keep the Faith Always in Our Heavenly Father. And before we do anything, we go to God's throne room and we pray. We pray for guidance. We pray for blessing. Abba, Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day. And we ask that you be with us tonight and all of those that are with us, that you would hear their prayers, their petitions, remove their pain, solve their tragedies, help them with their crisis. Let the Holy Spirit enter their homes and in their hearts and in their souls, that they would be guided in the right direction by you. Forgive me for my sins and help me tonight that we can do well. In the name of your Son, Jesus Christ, I pray. Amen. 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 Well, ladies and gentlemen, tonight our Wednesday UB-Tubies is dedicated to infomercial and also with the study of our currency. And it's important that I tell you before we do anything that everything that I express tonight, everything that I express is solely in my opinion. Now, we'll get to that second part later on. It's interesting because once again, the Central Bank of Iraq has done exactly what we told you they would do. And yeah, it took a while for them to do it, but now that they've done it, you can't help but to sit there and say, how did you know that? Well, that's why we always come to us, don't you, to find out what the next step is. For the Central Bank of Iraq to finally announce to the Iraqi citizens, coins should really mean that an awful lot to you. Anyways, let us get started. We're going to get started with our presentation of, Jan, you wrote Nova Checker.
You have to refresh your
Yep.
page. I corrected it.
So, you redid it again, okay.
Yes.
Yeah, tonight we're having Dr. Randy with Youngevity and her guest. Remember Dr. Wallach was with her last time? They're with us again today. So without any further ado, when they are done, if you have any questions, please post them and we'll ask them the questions. And when they are done, we enter into part 2, and that is the study of the Iraqi dinar. So with that said, Dr. Let me see here. Dr. Randy, are you there?
I'm here. Good
Hi.
evening. You're
Hi.
looking great tonight, Frank.
Thank you. The floor is all yours. Go right ahead, you and Dr. Wallach.
Outstanding. And thank you so much for everybody listening tonight and coming out for this special show. I know that we got a wealth of information from my colleague, Dr. Joel Wallach, just, 2 weeks or so ago. And there was so many questions at the end that Frank was gracious enough to allow him to come back, and he is ready to go tonight with all kinds of information. But my colleague, for those of you that don't know, is Dr. Joel Wallach. From 1970 to 1982, he was in charge of a $25 million federally funded research program, and his research proved that the human body must have 91 nutrients every single day, and that is not a disputable argument. It is literal scientific fact, and these nutrients must be put into our body every single day, or eventually something in the body breaks. And there are 60 of these are actually minerals, and they're found in the soil. There's actually no place, to my knowledge, in the entire planet Earth where you can find all 60 minerals in one spot. For example, selenium is in abundance in Wisconsin and Minnesota, but not, say, here in Miami, Florida. And, that's where I'm at. So if I grow a head of lettuce here and you grow one in Minnesota, chances are you're going to get one of those minerals in the ground that I'm not going to get here, but it is essential. And in fact, 60 of the 91 essential nutrients that we need, 60 are minerals, 16 vitamins, 12 amino acids, and 2 fatty acids. And the farmers have figured out that they can grow a plant with only 3 nutrients, but the human body requires so much more. And again, something will break. So I want to introduce all this information that I have comes from Dr. Joel Wallach. And Dr. Joel Wallach, I'm so thankful for you to come out here on the show tonight. We had so much great feedback and so many questions at the end of it last time you were on. So welcome to the call.
Well, thank you, Dr. Randy, and thank you, Frank, for letting us be on here. And we really appreciate the opportunity to share this information with people because, it's one of those things where it takes a lot of information to add 25 to 50 healthy years to your life. And it's one of those things where the medical system has failed us. They're very good about treating symptoms. They can get rid of pain, but they haven't dealt with the cause of the pain. They can, that's the easiest way to say it. They can get rid of pain and itching and that kind of stuff with medications, either topically or stuff that you put in your mouth, but they don't know how to actually get rid of the disease, so they'll cut your leg off and give you an artificial leg instead of regrowing your leg. And so that's the difference. We regrow the leg.
That's fantastic. Well, last week, Dr. Wallach, we had people just asking question after question, and, I just opened up with what the body requires. What does, you having been part of this program and it coming with such great knowledge out of it, why is this knowledge not everywhere?
Okay. Well, I have to say that, like you say, it was a $25 million grant from NIH, National Institutes of Health. And I only had written one paper before that. It was based on a mass die-off from pollution. 500 died in one night from pollution. And the story is that, and the truth is, that it was Christmas, 1963. I was working at the pathology department at the veterinary school at the University of Missouri. All the professors were off as holiday for Christmas, and I didn't have a lot of money, so I'm working my way through school by working in the pathology department. And this farmer brings me 50 dead lambs. And he told me, the night before, he had 500 lambs. They're all beautiful. They were going to go to market in a couple of weeks, 6 months old, and beautiful wool and all happy and jumping around, jumping in the feed bunks and out and eating, following him around, jumping in the truck and tractor and so on. And then the next morning, he woke up to feed them again, and they were all dead. 500 were dead. What happened was the surrounding farms had been adding nitrate fertilizers in excess to grow more crops so they could have Christmas money. And the excess was going into the pond where all those sheep were drinking their water. Now, in Missouri, in Columbia, Missouri, in middle of winter, we're talking about Christmas time, December, it can run 35, 40, 50, 60 degrees. And it had been running 45, 50 degrees. Well, the night they all died, the temperature dropped to 16, and they all died of hypothermia because their thyroids were dead, because the nitrates in that pond water subdued their thyroid gland. And so, the professor let me be the sole author on that because they were all gone when I discovered it and everything. And that was my first scientific paper, that mass die-off of those 500 lambs in one night because of a combination of pollution and the weather change. Well, to make a long story short, I was also working for Marlin Perkins at the Mutual Omaha Kingdom TV show and also the St. Louis Zoo, where he was the director. And to make a long story short, they let me be the sole author on that paper. So I'm giving a copy of that paper to governors and senators and doctors and lawyers and Indian chiefs, and I gave a whole handful to Marlin Perkins. And that was 1955 when they came out, but the actual event took place in it's 1965. It also had started in 1963. That's where I did those autopsies. And to make a long story short, Perkins wanted me to go to Africa and work on the White Rhino project. The White Rhino were down to like 300 and maybe 45, 50 individual White Rhino. And he sent me there. He said, look, when you come back in say a couple of years, let you go back to college if you want to and get your degree in pathology or whatever. But right now, I need you to go there. So the paper was published in 1965, just about the day that I left, for Africa. I worked in Africa for 2 years on the White Rhino Project in the Umfolozi and Shishlui Game Reserves in Natal and South Africa. And to make a long story short, today, as of December of last year, there was 21,000 because we had built all kinds of places for those white rhino to be under protection in the wild animal parks. And they went from 350 to now 21,000. So we're very, very proud of that. And there's a book written on that called Rhino Express. Because we're taking, I caught 200 of those 350 white rhino and brought them to the United States. And in case they all died in Africa, at least we'd have some in zoos here in the United States to, show people the species. That's what that whole project. And so when Perkins used my paper to get that $25 million grant, the grant was issued to the Department of Biology with Dr. Barry Counter and St. Louis, Missouri, at Washington University in St. Louis. They called me back to be the pathologist on the project. What they wanted me to do was do autopsies on animals dying in the big zoos around the world. They're going to freeze them and send them to me and so forth. The whole idea was to find a canary in the mine for pollution. In other words, when coal miners in the old days would take a canary down the mine, if there were poison gases that would go into the mine, the canaries would drop off the perch and the men knew to get out to save their lives. Well, Perkins had the idea that we could use the animals in the zoo. There's bound to be 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 species that were sensitive to the same pollutants that we are. If they started dying, we knew to evacuate the cities. So that was the whole purpose of the project. It was 10 years long, and I did over 20,000 autopsies, 17,000 change of over 454 species of animals and 3,000 humans. And to make a long story short, the original, the original science, all those papers and autopsies and everything put together, it was 5,000 pages. And so they edited it down to 1,500, 1,200, including 1,200 pages of science, and the others were references and stuff, and pictures and so on. And it became a national treasure in the Smithsonian Institute. It's still a national treasure in the Smithsonian Institute. And so people want to go see it because they don't believe, Wallach, you got a national treasure in the Smithsonian Institute. And so they'll give you a guard, an armed guard to go with, because they sell for, originally they sold for $25,000 each. $25,000 each. You can go on, let's see here, was it online, and you might ask for a used one. The title of it is, of course, The Diseases of Exotic Animals. And you ask Siri if there's any available for sale, and you can get them for $5,000, $1,200. They're used and beat up and that kind of stuff. But brand new, still in the box, they sell for $25,000. And it started a whole new area of science, which we call epigenetics. What made that study so important was, what I found was there was no genetic diseases. There are no genetic diseases. There are no autoimmune diseases. They're all nutritional deficiencies. And the doctors didn't know that, so they just called them genetic or autoimmune just because they didn't want to say they didn't know. And if they said they didn't know, the insurance wouldn't pay. But if they said it's autoimmune, the insurance would pay. If they said it was genetic, the insurance would pay. So that's why they went that direction. Okay? And so the book is still available, used on Siri. And, of course, W.B. Saunders sold out to some other publishing companies, but that was the biggest publishing house for medical textbooks. Bought the rights to that book, and they're the ones who printed them and sold them for $25,000 each. Okay?
Amazing.
Isn't that amazing? Yeah.
And I actually saw one of the descendants of your white rhinos. The mother gave birth just maybe 6 or 8 months ago. So
That's a beautiful story. Thank you.
Yes, yes. Dr. Wallach, I wanted to talk about, the good and the bad food things. What to take out of, what to not put in the body and sabotage,
Sure.
and what to put in.
Okay, well, they made a movie out of that question, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Okay?
Okay.
And I have a good food, bad food list, which everybody can have, for free. We don't charge for that list. I know you have it.
Yes.
The good food, bad food list is absolutely no fried foods, no processed meats, no ham, no bacon, no bologna, salami, no hot dogs, no pastrami, pepperoni, jerky, corned beef, Spam. All that stuff's got to go because of all the chemicals. Then no oils, no oils. I mean, we're talking about no salad dressings, no cooking oils, all that kind of stuff. And then absolutely no gluten, no wheat, no butter, rye, and oats, and no peanuts, because peanuts actually are ground nuts, and they actually get contaminated with a ground mold called Aspergillus flavus. It grows in those peanuts when they're growing in the ground. Tree nuts are quite safe. They don't have that problem. But the Aspergillus flavus is this mold that grows in the ground, gets into the peanuts, and produces a poison called aflatoxin. And aflatoxin causes liver cancer. And liver cancer in the United States is the third leading cause of cancer death in America. Okay? And so it's very, very important to stay away from peanuts as well as wheat, butter, rye, and oats, because they destroy your intestines. Your intestines should look like a shag rug with a finger-like villi, which increases the absorptive surface. When you're eating gluten and peanuts, your intestines die, and it looks like a plastic tube. You lose 90% of the absorptive surface. You start getting all these problems and diseases. And I can run through about 9 categories, if I may. Is that okay?
Yes.
Okay. Well, Alzheimer's disease is one. Okay. It's not an autoimmune disease. It's not an aging disease. It's just a simple nutritional deficiency of cholesterol. Cholesterol makes up 25% of the brain weight and 25% of the weight of the spinal cord. When you start demyelinating your brain, all the white matter is going away. Your brain is shrinking, and so that's why we have a product called Synaptive. Take 3 of those twice a day. I do that. I only weigh 142 pounds. I take 3 of those twice a day, and I eat 3 eggs twice a day, so I'm getting my cholesterol to maintain my brain so I don't get Alzheimer's disease. Then arthritis. Okay, everybody knows about arthritis. And people say, I take vitamin C, I take some calcium, and I still have to take a lot of pain relievers because, I got rid of some inflammation, but I still have a lot of pain. Well, we spend, for Alzheimer's disease, $305 billion a year just to treat the symptoms. Arthritis, we spend $626.8 billion a year just to treat the symptoms, not to prevent or cure it. Type 2 diabetes, we spend $342 billion just to treat the symptoms, not to prevent or cure it. Heart disease of all kinds, $316.8 billion, not to prevent or cure it, just to treat the symptoms. Obesity, $260 billion, not to prevent or cure it, just to treat the symptoms. Cancer, in 2015, we were spending $190 billion. Today, we're spending $208.9 billion just to treat the symptom of cancer, not to prevent it or cure it. High blood pressure, $131 billion just to treat the symptoms. MS, multiple sclerosis, which is a cholesterol deficiency disease. Okay, Guillain-Barré syndrome is this MS in the spinal cord, but it also is just a simple deficiency of cholesterol. So we spend $85 billion treating the symptoms of MS, and I think it's like $1.2 billion to treat the Guillain-Barré syndrome. Asthma in kids under age 10 is $80 billion a year just to treat the symptoms. Kidney dialysis just to treat the symptoms, $24 billion a year. It's like crazy, okay? It's all just simple nutritional deficiency diseases. And so I urge everybody to kind of pay attention here because it's one of those things where we have programs for 600 different diseases. We have 5,000 products, and they all work. Now, with that, I want to remind everybody we have 21 best-selling books. And the one that really made the big time was Dead Doctors Don't Lie. Dead Doctors Don't Lie. And Dead Doctors Don't Lie goes into the history of doctors telling stories because they didn't have an answer, so they just made up stories. The average lifespan of medical doctors, published, is 58. The average lifespan of an American published, the average life expectancy of an American is 75. The average life expectancy of a medical doctor is 58. And so doctors don't know much about nutrition. They know how to relieve pain, which makes the patient happy for a while, but then they die. So we like people to get the book in the CD, which is 9 languages, Dead Doctors Don't Lie. We like the book Epigenetics, which is named for the science, or the science is named for the book. Epigenetics has replaced genetics. There are no genetically transmitted diseases, so epigenetics is now the science, that everybody is jumping into. And we're the ones that identified it, in that big $25 million grant. And then, in addition to Dead Doctors Don't Lie and epigenetics, you also need to, get a hold of the book. I go with It's All in Your Head. Goes into 37 different diseases that are caused by osteoporosis of the skull. And there's a CD that goes along with it, the CD, by the same title. And it's one of those things where we had to come up with these pre-packaged programs. Because initially, I came up, my first book was Let's Play Doctor. Let's Play Doctor. And in chapter 1 and 2, I listed all the 90 essential nutrients people need. And people look at that and say, well, how do I know where to get all that stuff? My doctor says, well, I'll get everything I need. And so it became obvious that we had to come up with programs that were already pre-made, and you just take the program. So you didn't have to run around looking for all those nutrients because people weren't going to do that. And so that's why we wound up doing the things we do. And it's one of those things where we do have, you can ask Frank B, I guess it is, or you can ask Dr. Randy for the list. It's called the educational brochure. It has all the best-selling books, prices, and so forth. If you buy 10 of any title, you get a big discount. And, of course, it also lists the 100 CDs, and I think it's like 25 DVDs.
Okay, perfect. So I actually put in the link your site, Dr. Wallach, Dr. the letter J, Wallach.com, WALLACH. It's better to get the books direct from Dr. Wallach, you guys, as opposed to some of these second places selling them, because who knows where that came from at that point. And Dr. Wallach and I are going to get into some of the products. We're also going to talk about various ailments that are out there, one of them being autism. This was one of the questions that has come up. Anything that you can say about autism, Dr. Wallach?
Autism is really just a simple nutritional deficiency. The kids are all eating gluten for breakfast, or eating oatmeal for breakfast every morning, and they're eating pancakes and waffles made from wheat, and all they're getting is gluten. And even if they might be taking a kitty vitamin, they're not absorbing any of it because their intestines are dead. And that's why they get all these things like autism, which is they don't want to eat eggs, and they just want to eat their oatmeal, and they're putting margarine in there instead of butter, and so it's all wrong, And so somebody who has autism, they need to be getting rid of all the bad foods. No fried food. You heard this earlier. No fried foods, no processed meats, no oils, no glutens, no wheat, no rhinos, no sugar, no peanuts, no carbonated drinks. Even the diet ones got to go. And then by getting rid of the bad stuff, then they need, if they're little kids, if they're just, under a year of age, we have what we call kids toddy. And it has the basic essential nutrients in there. Even if the mother's breastfeeding the baby, at least one meal a day should have the kids toddy and the EFAs that will give them the nutrients they need for their brain to work right, their heart to work right, their intestines to work right, their liver to work right, to grow properly, their immune system to work properly, the kids toddy. And we came out with that because even mothers who are breastfeeding their babies, if they're eating gluten, even if they're taking a prenatal vitamin or something like that, they're not going to be able to absorb it. And so the nutrients are not coming through the breast milk into the baby. That's why the baby gets asthma and gets eczema and gets constipation, and gets they'll wind up with all kinds of crazy diseases, and they're including autism. Okay, but that all goes away very easily when they get the 90 essential nutrients. And even if the mother's breastfeeding, the mother's got to get off all the bad stuff. She's got to take the Healthy Brain and Heart Pack. Got to have one meal a day at least in the baby, with the kids toddy and the EFAs, and autism will go away.
Okay, what if the child is up around 10, 12, 15?
Well, then the kid can have the Healthy Brain and Heart Pack, okay, which has 215 nutrients in it, and it goes by body weight. You know, one Healthy Brain and Heart Pack per 100 pounds of body weight. So if the kid is 12 years old and weighs 110 pounds, that's one Healthy Brain and Heart Pack. If the kid's obese and weighs 180 pounds, he needs 2 Healthy Brain and Heart Packs, okay? And stay away from all the bad stuff, and they'll lose that weight and get down to where they're supposed to be. And again, they need to eat scrambled eggs. If they're eating eggs, they need to eat scrambled eggs with soft yolks, soft scrambled eggs with butter. Absolutely no fried eggs, no hard-boiled eggs, because you're killing that cholesterol. And remember, the brain is 25% cholesterol. They also need to take our synaptive. A kid who's 12 years old, they could take 1 twice a day. If they weigh 100 pounds, they might take 2 twice a day. And the synaptive, and it helps the brain cells work better.
Perfect. And if you're not, for the listeners, if you're not getting all of this, definitely you want to go back and hear the replay once we're all done. And I suggest that everybody go back and listen to the show that we did about 2 weeks ago on Frank's call. And make sure you give his YouTube a thumbs up, because that helps with the traffic and that brings more eyes on Frank and what he's doing, his great work, and the guests like Dr. Joel Wallach. Dr. Wallach, I wanted to talk about the eyes and vision and cataracts, loss of eyesight. What can you tell us about that?
Okay. I'm just writing all this down here. Okay, again, you need to everybody needs to get a hold of that book in the CD set called It's All in Your Head. Okay? The second cranial nerve is the optic nerve. The osteoporosis of the skull goes from a normal of 1/4 of an inch thick to an inch thick, 1.5 or 2 inches thick. And those tunnels that 12 cranial nerves go through, including the second cranial nerve, which is the optic nerve, is like 10% of its normal inside diameter, and it's squeezing the optic nerve. And so a lot of times when you have, quote, cataracts, unquote, is because the skull is squeezing that optic nerve, the optic vein, the optic artery, and they're also getting glaucoma. They get pressure in the eye, all because of osteoporosis of the skull. Babies are born with osteoporosis of the skull. It's called Erb's palsy, oftentimes mistakenly diagnosed as cerebral palsy because the baby is born paralyzed from the neck down. But it's osteoporosis of the skull squeezing that spinal cord. Okay? And so it's imperative to eat the eggs. Okay? It's imperative for the little kids to get the kids toddy. If they're starting to eat, adult food, like 6 months of age and a year of age, they can have those soft scrambled eggs and butter. It's good to maintain the brain, and don't forget, all the other nutrients, because that skull will go bad and turn into a very, very terrible thing, squeezing those 12 pairs of cranial nerves and the spinal cord, causing 37 different diseases, which doctors know nothing about. They just treat the symptoms. They really don't know the causes. They just treat symptoms. And apparently they don't get any of this training in school. So that's why I figured I better write a book and make a CD on it, and that's why we did that.
Perfect. Okay, Dr. Wallach, in the chat, somebody said something about the oils. Is there any good oil for the body?
Yeah, well, the oils are good, okay, but they have to be, which I say, cared for. See, we have 2 soft gel capsules of oils in them. One we call EFAs, one EFA pluses. EFA pluses come from fish livers, and the EFAs come from seeds. But we make them, we extract the oils in a room that is totally with a nitrogen atmosphere, no oxygen. Everybody working in there has to be in, like one of those suits that you go underwater with. Okay, they look like Navy SEALs.
Dive tanks, yep.
Yeah, okay. And then the soft gel capsules we're putting the oils in are flushed with nitrogen. The bottles we put those closed capsules in are flushed with nitrogen before they're sealed. So the oil that we sell have never seen oxygen. If you use oils like salad dressings and cooking oils and all that kind of stuff, and buy various oils, from health food stores and so forth, they're oxidized, and they can cause problems. They can cause cancer. Okay, they can cause cancer. They can cause all kinds of terrible things, and so you really, really, really want to be careful with oils. Okay.
Okay, good. And I wanted to talk too, because there's a lot of grillers on this call, people that are grilling their meats. Why is that not okay regarding the fat?
Okay, well, you don't want to be eating burnt fat. If you're going to grill it, you really need to put something on top of the grill, a piece of metal, okay, like an iron, these baking pans or something like that on top of the grill, and then put the meat in there, and so you can heat it, but you're not going to get flames burning the fat and that kind of stuff, because you don't want to turn that fat into trans fatty acids, which will cause cancer. Okay, and so that's imperative. We do a little bit of grilling, but we use metal on the top of the grill so that the meat is not getting touched directly by the fire.
Okay, perfect. And for those of you that have questions, go ahead and throw them in the chat, and I'll do my best to bring them up. Dr. Wallach, what about, if you could go into detail about cholesterol? Anything you want to throw out there, because the doctors are always trying to lower everybody's cholesterol.
Okay, well, cholesterol makes up, as I said earlier, 25% of the brain weight, 25% of the weight of the spinal cord. And there's 3 diseases that are the result of a cholesterol deficiency. One we already briefly spoke about, which is Alzheimer's disease. The second one is MS, multiple sclerosis. The third one is Guillain-Barré syndrome. Those are all cholesterol deficiency diseases. When they diagnose MS, they'll do a scan of the brain, and they'll say, oh yeah, your brain has shrunk about 25%. It's all wrinkled up and shrunk. You're demyelinating. Myelin, everybody's heard of myelin. That's the white matter of the brain, which is the insulation material around the brain cells. And the myelin is almost 100% cholesterol. Okay? And so when doctors said stop eating cholesterol, it's because somebody made a mistake and told them the cholesterol was blocking the arteries and causing heart attacks. It was absolutely 100% not true. Okay? What happens when people have a heart attack, they have a mineral deficiency called selenium deficiency. They get hypertrophic cardiomyopathy heart disease, a heart attack. They can also get blocked arteries from eating French fries and fried chicken and fried meats, and eating oatmeal and for breakfast every morning. And, there's breakfast cereals made from wheat and that kind of stuff. Pancakes and waffles. And so all that kind of stuff causes those problems to occur.
Perfect. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you want your male and female anatomy to work, do not get on those cholesterol-lowering drugs.
That's right. Now, wait a minute. There's one other piece there. You said something very important there, because testosterone is 95% by weight cholesterol. Estrogen and progesterone are 95% by weight cholesterol. So they need to be eating those 2 or 3 eggs twice a day with soft yolks, soft scrambled in butter. I like mine soft scrambled in butter. Hard-boiled eggs won't count. And the fried eggs will cause cancer. So it's very, very important to eat those soft poached eggs or soft scrambled eggs with butter, because you want that cholesterol for your hormones and for the myelin in your brain.
Perfect. So if you're hearing the snap, crackle, pop when you're cooking the food, you need to lower the heat. That's the bottom line. That's
one other piece I'm going to throw in there. One other thing. We do have a product for women, okay, that gives the ovaries the raw materials it needs to make estrogen. Okay, it's called Zera Fem. We have a similar product for males to make testosterone. It's called Zeratest. I'm 80 years old, so I take 3 of those twice a day. I take 3 of the Zeratest twice a day. That's 2 vials a month. Along with my Synaptive, I take 3 of those twice a day, plus all the other stuff I take. My 2 Healthy Brain and Heart Packs, and let's see here, my MSM, my collagen peptides, and my Zeratest. I take my Rebound, and so on. I take a lot of stuff, okay? And that's because I've been doing it for 75 years. And that's why when people look at me, they think I'm in my 50s when they look at me. And I have very little white, gray, or silver hair. White, gray, or silver hair has nothing to do with age. It's nutritional deficiencies, like the red warning light in the dashboard of your car. And those nutritional deficiencies will cause problems in your heart and your brain and your kidneys.
Perfect. I want everybody to think about what Dr. Wallach is saying. We have to supplement. And if you go along and you're like, well, I eat pretty good, or I'm eating organic, at the end of the day, you're not getting the nutrients. Animals cannot make minerals. Plants cannot make minerals. Minerals are found in the soil. If they're in the water, it's because they ran off. Okay, they're coming from the rocks in the soil. They'll be in the water. And the plants suck those minerals out of the soil through their roots and then metabolize them into their cell structure. So
okay,
when
now
you eat plants...
you get an A+ dear. You get an A+.
Okay.
There's two pieces I need to add to that.
Okay.
We need to go back a little bit to 3 o'clock in the afternoon, Monday, September 4th, 1882, on Pearl Street in New York City, in the bluff overlooking the construction of Brooklyn Bridge. Thomas Edison pulled the switch in the first commercial electric generating plant. That was 1882. By 1900, most of Americans were obese. And the doctors saying, look, stop eating animal fat, just eat whole grains, and you'll lose the weight. Well, everybody started eating wheat, brown, and rye oats, and all these cereal companies came out, Wheaties and oatmeal and all that kind of stuff. And suddenly now they started having problems nobody ever heard of before. All right? Now, you have to appreciate that these problems occurred because nutritional minerals, and this is the scary part, nutritional minerals do not occur in a uniform blank around the crust of the earth. As you pointed out, plants cannot make them. That's why some plants don't grow very well in some places, or they don't grow at all in some places. That's why there's deserts, because those nutrients don't occur. Plants require only 3 nutrients, NPK, nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, to make good seeds for the next generation. We need 60 minerals. We need 57 more than a plant needs. Plants can make vitamins and amino acids, but plants cannot make minerals. So, nutritional minerals do not occur in a uniform blank around the crust of the earth. Nutritional minerals occur in veins like gold and silver. Now, here it comes. I hope you're sitting down, everybody. In 1936, the U.S. Senate came out with what was called U.S. Senate Document 264 and said, American soils no longer contain sufficient amount of nutritional minerals. That was U.S. Senate Document 264, 1936. You can look it up. It'll blow your mind. The government knew that in 1936. So is the government pushing, taking the 90 essential nutrients, guaranteeing you're taking in all 60 minerals? No.
Nope. They got vending machines in the hospital.
They got vending machines in hospitals, and they got doctors who have kids in college who need tuition money.
Mm-hmm. That's right. Okay, excellent. Dr. Wallach, somebody wants you to speak on arthritis and swelling.
Okay. Arthritis is a very common disease. Remember, we spend on arthritis each year, let's see here, we spend $626.8 billion just to treat the symptoms, because they're treating it every day for like 25, 30, 40, 50 years. So they run up the bill. $626.8 billion a year just to treat the annual cost for arthritis. Okay? Right now, there's 58.5 million cases of arthritis diagnosed each year in America. 24% of Americans have arthritis. Juvenile arthritis occurs in kids under the age of 16. There's 300,000 kids in the United States with juvenile arthritis. Okay, there's a big story with that goes along with rickets and all that kind of stuff, and vitamin D3 in the milk, which they eliminated rickets by putting vitamin D3 in milk for a couple of years, and then when they came out with soft drinks, all the kids dropped the milk off the shelf and went to the soft drinks. Okay, and that's why we have 300,000 kids in the United States under age 16 with arthritis, juvenile arthritis. Now, osteoporosis is kind of a pre-arthritis thing. Okay, you're starting to lose minerals in every bone in your body. You might have main symptoms in your left knee. The doctors will treat that left knee. But if you have arthritis or osteoporosis in your left knee, you got it in every bone in your body. It doesn't just occur in one joint. Okay, so when they start saying, yeah, we need to do a double knee replacement. What about all the rest of the bones in your body? See, knee replacements don't help you there. Well, I hope everybody's sitting down, because here's what's spent just to treat osteoporosis in 3 combined communities: the United States, Canada, and the European Union. Those 3 communities each year spend $6.5 trillion with a T, $6.5 trillion to treat osteoporosis in the U.S., Canada, and the EU, just to treat osteoporosis. Okay, that does not include the $626.8 billion used to treat arthritis. 2 different subjects, okay? And it's, I urge you, okay? We have, again, all these programs, the Healthy Brain and Heart Pack. We have the Healthy Bone and Joint Pack. A very famous athlete, Theo Ratliff, 24 years old. He had a $35 million contract from the Atlanta Hawks, 24 years old, basketball player. And he had bone-to-bone arthritis in both knees. The cartilage slipped off his left hip. He fractured his wrist in his shooting arm, his right wrist in his shooting arm. They took away his $35 million contract, and I invented and created the Healthy Bone and Joint Pack for him. It's the 90 essential nutrients, okay, with collagen peptides added to it. Collagen peptides actually was, let's see here. I'm trying to remember.
You're allowed, Dr. Wallach.
I'm allowed. Okay.
You've got a computer in that brain.
It's called glucogel. Yeah, I'm a little hungry. It's called glucogel. Okay, glucogel, and it's collagen. Okay, from the cartilage from beef. Okay, those are our first one. So we added that to the 90 essential nutrients, the Healthy Start Pack. And, of course, Theo Ratliff was introduced to us by Pastor Creflo Dollar out of Atlanta, Georgia. And in 3 months' time, he was able to grow back all his cartilage and ligaments and tendons and everything, got rid of his osteoporosis. Within a year, he got his contract back. He played for 11 years, never missed a game, and earned over $100 million.
Incredible.
Isn't that incredible? Also, he created a facility in Alabama. Okay, he created a facility in Alabama to invite young athletes from all over the world to learn his story, so that they're taking all the good stuff. Okay, and so on. And so I'm very, very proud of him for doing that.
He's a heck of a nice guy too. Actually, I spoke with him a couple of different times, and the last time I saw him, he was sitting down in a restaurant, and he was sitting with somebody from Fox Sports that's also a Youngevity user, and they were both sitting down. These are both NBA guys, and they were both taller than me while they were sitting down. So they definitely have some height on them. Healthy fats. I know we talked about essential EFAs. Okay, somebody's asking for what are some other healthy fats?
Milk fat. Okay, is fat and very good. You have to appreciate the first food for all mammals, including human beings, is milk. And that fat in the milk is very important. They make butter out of it because in the old days they didn't have refrigerators to keep the milk good, so they would make cheese and butter and that kind of stuff so that the milk would last a couple of more months as opposed to going bad in a couple of days. Okay, that's why they made cheese and butter so that they could keep milk. Okay, and it's one of those things where the other good fats are any red meat fat, just don't burn it. I eat steak or lamb chops every Saturday. That's my spoiling myself every Saturday. For breakfast every morning, I have 3 soft scrambled eggs and butter. I will have, like this morning, I had a fillet of salmon steamed, and so there's good fats in salmon and cod and tuna. Okay, you just don't want to overcook them. You want them just still almost raw. Okay, and so I get a lot of my healthy fats from dairy, cheeses, and butter, and I also get it from fish and red meat, as well as the EFAs and EFA pluses, which is in my supplement program.
Goat milk is good.
I'm sorry?
Goat milk.
Oh yeah, cow's milk, goat's milk, buffalo milk, camel milk.
What about
whale milk?
What about all these fad milks that are out there? Oat milk, almond milk, coconut milk.
No. You got gluten in there.
That's right, and oils off of the seeds that's oxidized.
Yeah. So were they extracted from the seeds in a nitrogen atmosphere? No. Ours are the only ones that are extracted in a nitrogen atmosphere and packaged in a soft shell capsule in a nitrogen atmosphere, and the bottles are flushed in nitrogen before those capsules are put in there. We protect that to prevent them from oxidizing and going bad and creating problems. So we go to a great extreme to do that. And so the only way, like I say, any place I go, I take handfuls of this stuff with me. I have to take a small suitcase with all my supplements.
Okay, one last one, Dr. Wallach, I want to throw out there. And if anybody has a question, now's the time to throw it up. When we're only going to have time for 1 or 2 more, probably. Salt. How much salt?
Okay.
I love salt. How much do you eat in the morning?
I take a half a teaspoon of our salt. We have 2 kinds. We have the pink Himalayan salt, which is temporarily out of availability. So I always buy 5 or 6 bottles of everything. So when that happens, I still have a couple of bottles of our pink Himalayan salt with 78 minerals in it. But we also have the seasoned salt, which is from Australia. It's sea salt, sodium chloride. Your stomach has T cells in it that require sodium chloride to make stomach acid so you can absorb minerals and digest food. Also, every cell in your body requires salt to function properly. Salt was the first supplement ever packaged and sold in the world. People on the coast would boil salt water, take the salt into the inland areas and sell it for a lot of money. Okay, they were not only getting sodium chloride, but they were getting also the other minerals from the seawater. And so that's why seaweed is so valuable. That's why we have the ocean's gold. That's why we have fucoid Z and Z radical. Those are all our seaweed products with all these minerals in there. And then, again, our seasoned salt from Australia, and also the Himalayan pink Him.
Anything you want to throw in there?
No, I actually thought that coconut milk was a good source. You just put that it's already oxidized.
It's already oxidized.
I never thought about that. Yeah, as it's stored in the coconut shell, it would be oxidized, wouldn't it? No, I'm impressed. Family Youngevity has many products. As you can see, the last 2 times that the doctor and both doctors have been with us, they're not only talking to you about specific needs, but also about the product. I strongly suggest that you go into our form, click on the Youngevity banner, and browse. Go shopping. Navigate.
And we have 5,000 products.
Look at that. 5,000 products. And tell me you've seen them all. No. And all these products are out there for your usage, for your good, for your health. Consider it,
For the people you love.
Consider it. When you stop and think about it, we've been told, in the 70s it was bad to eat fat. Oh, Twiggy doesn't eat fat. Well, that's what's wrong with her. She's malnourished and sick. Look at her, man. Things have become a lot more savvy. We have much better information. We get a lot of our sources from the ocean compared to the land nowadays. I'm very, very proud of these two people, and I would suggest that you go to their site and then call them. Here, this is Dr. Randy's phone number, 844-275-1056. 844-275-1056. Call Dr. Randy. She also does the tongue testing analysis. Dr. Randy, tell them about that.
Yes, I'm an expert in the face, tongue, and fingernail analysis, and I also look at other marks of concern on the body. And for Frank's listeners only, okay, listening to this show, I am giving everybody the tongue analysis only, where I look at the top and bottom of the tongue. Normally it's $250 to walk in my door. That's totally free for Frank's listeners. I am not charging. Now, I do charge for the full analysis, and I put the link in the chat. It's thebodycan.com/schedule. Thebodycan.com/schedule. And that's how, if there's more serious things and you want to talk a while, that's where you get a full written report, etc. And that's quite a bit more in depth. And my number is 844-275-1056. Please reach out. Don't sit at home and suffer. There's no need.
You should use this video, family, with your friends and family. Have them sit down and listen to it. Look at the date. And then they can go into our archives and click on this video. I wear different color suits every time. Memorize the color suit if you want to find it again. There's a lot of good information that people just don't have. For example, eggs. When Dr. Randy and Dr. Wallach started talking to me about eggs, at first it didn't really register. But the more I thought about it, I realized that, goodness gracious, there are sulfides that are extremely important that are found in the yolk of the egg, in the yellow part of the egg. You have the protein. That's what the body needs. We're carbon-based units. Yes, we breathe in oxygen. Yes, we eat carbon-based foods. But there are many other things that we need too. And to be honest with you, you're not going to get it all from your foods. That's why supplementation is important. It's like insurance. My house never burnt down, but I've been paying for fire insurance for about 50 years. I finally got sick. This disease called cancer attacked me once, and then twice, and then thrice, and then it attacked me a fourth time. It came after me. It did not want to let go of me. But every time I fought back with the blood of Jesus Christ and how many supplements did I take, family? Come on, let me see you post it. How many supplements in the almost 3 years that I was with you? And I'm going to tell you something. Youngevity was probably at least 1/3. I showed you every day I took these in the morning and I took them in the evening. How many did I take? 22, says Trish. No. I actually did it in front of you many, many times, and I said, here they are. I'm going to hold on. I take them. It takes about 5 minutes to take them out. There it is. And Mike Fuller says, a lot. Free Day says 90. Yeah, it was 93. 93, and I washed them down with a big glass of celery juice because my doctor told me God woke him up in the middle of the night to tell Frank to drink celery juice. And I did. The doctors could never figure out, how are you alive? We gave you 2 to 4 months to live. You're going on 3 years. How are you alive? Why didn't it metastasize? Because God kept me in his arms, and he gave me knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. And one of those was Youngevity. When they talk to me about eggs, no. But there are many things in eggs that, boy, the human body needs so bad. From protein to the sulfides to the cholesterol to the to the fats that are in there. These are the right fats. These are not trans fats. Like Dr. Wallach said, our brain, our reproductive part, the two most important parts of our body, to tell you the truth, um, are insulated with a lot of fat, a lot of cholesterol. That's why when you see the brain, the myelin sheet of the spinal cord, it's white. Well, it has a gray color to it on the outside because that's called gray matter. That's where all your neurons are located in your synaptic gaps. Anyways, I'm sorry, I get to talking and I don't know when to shut up. Dr. Wallach, all I can say is I'm very grateful to you. Dr. Randy, I'm very grateful
Well,
to
thank you.
you, not only for the years that we've been together, but for many, many, many people that you have helped, from arthritis
Oof,
to
a lot.
diabetes to cancer, especially the prostate cancer one. So I thank you, and I think we did a good job. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you have any interest in the products, I held it up. I'll hold it up again. This is Dr. Randy's phone number. That there be our site. You know my phone number. So if you need any help, get a hold of Dr. Randy. Tell her you're with us, so you can get the discounts and and we can get the credit and you can. Dr. Wallach, Dr. Randy, any final words that you'd like to express?
Just
No, I
thank
think
you
you
so
get an A
much.
plus. You get an A plus, Frank. Beautiful job.
Dr. Randy, we did good
Excellent.
tonight, didn't we?
Yes.
My
It's
granddaughter's
always
take.
great to be on your show, Frank.
My granddaughter's taking organic chemistry in college right now, and she's like, "Wow, Poppy, this is hard stuff." But no, always been a straight A student. Always, from kindergarten until college, she's only gotten an A. She's never gotten anything below an A. It's amazing, and just extremely proud of her. I got a feeling that she eats a lot of eggs.
She probably does. Outstanding. Well, thank you so much for having us on, Dr. Wallach. Thank you. It's always my pleasure. You're legendary. And Frank, thank you so much. It's amazing.
I'm very
Thank you
grateful
so
to
much, Dr. Randy. Thank you, Frank.
I'm very grateful to you, Dr. Wallach, for coming. You're welcome anytime, and we'll do it again down the road. Like they
Let's
say,
do it.
like they say in Japanese, muchos thank yous. Well, something like that. God bless you guys. Take care. Bye bye.
Bye-bye.
Sayonara.
Sayonara. He said, I caught that. I caught that. Well, ladies and gentlemen, take advantage of these two. Start with Dr. Randy, call her and talk to her and just explain to her, not like you're talking to a doctor, but like you're talking to a friend. Just explain to her what your problems are, what your history is, what type of help you're getting right now from the medical field. Let her make an evaluation. Let her do a tongue analysis as well too. Um, I flunked my tongue analysis. I got confused. Yeah, I sent her a picture of my shoe tongue. Yeah, I'm sorry. Bad joke. Wah, wah, wah. Okay, thanks. Thanks, Peanut Gallery. Anyways, listen, I also want to say thank you to Mark Fullard. I want to thank Doris. I want to thank DJ Tyrone. I want to thank JB Good 10 for your financial contributions. It means a lot to me, my wife, and to many others as well. God bless you. If you can afford to give us a financial contribution, you can find it down underneath the chat. You'll see the little tabs where you can donate. Give me a second to drink, and then we walk into part two. We're going to talk about coins. Hold on. Alrighty, family. Look at your notes. Unfortunately, you'd have to go way back to November of last year, almost a year ago, when we first introduced to you. We gave you a list And everything I'm about to say tonight about our study, it's just strictly in my opinion, okay? Okay. Now, what happened was back then, around November, December, we started to tell you that the Central Bank of Iraq, Mustafa Galay, was going to start a campaign of education to the citizens of Iraq. About what? About the monetary reform. Is he going to talk to them about the economic reform? No. No. Kazemi will. But you will eventually see the governor of the Central Bank of Iraq come out and say to you, "Hey, we are going to change our exchange rate for our currency. We're going to give you new currency. The 30 notes that you have now will be replaced with the new small category notes." Yeah. We're going to be teaching you. We'll have seminars. We'll have commercials. We'll bring you into the banks. We'll bring you into different areas where we'll be teaching you. Yeah. You'll see some billboards. You'll see this, inside of our banks. Slowly but surely, we're going to educate you. Now, family, when we told you that, the very first thing that you did when you woke up the next day, you looked for it. Yeah. Unfortunately, as time has gone by, 11 months, going on a year, you have seen it evolve. I'm sorry. Maybe I should have kept my mouth shut a little longer. But we felt that that was the right time because January 2022 was going to start. And I felt deep in my heart that that's when they were going to announce the new education and the new rate. But they didn't. And it's mainly because of the political issues that are going on with Iran that desperately trying to survive and demands to have a voice in Iraq's government. That's an insult. That's ironic. That's thievery. That's just plain nastiness. This is my country, says Kazemi. It's not your country, Iran. And for decades upon decades, your country, your government has been in my government and stealing everything from us. No more. Now that caused them to get angry. What do you mean, no more? You can't take away our sugar money. They killed Jesus for that, said the Sanhedrins. Yeah, and so are the Iranian military regime, dictator, terrorist leaders that run that country. And when they killed that girl, the police, the Iranian police, woo! Ever since then, Iranian citizens are just fighting back every day. They're burning something from the government. They look over at their brothers and sisters in Iraq and they say, they're doing it. We can do it too. The problem is that, you can't do it, Iranians, because the regime is powerful. They'll crush you. They'll come to your home and just, boom, get rid of you. But they're weak now. They're vulnerable now. They're handicapped now. Interesting. You're making your move now, huh? Interesting again. Now, while all of that is going on, what's going on with the CBI and the governor of the CBI, Mustafa Galay? Well, Ali Mustafa Galay decided to tell the citizens of Iraq, hey, I want to tell you about the monetary reform. Yeah, we're going to change the rate. I mean, we did in December, and it was beneficial, wasn't it? Wasn't it? Huh? Huh? Tell me. And all the citizens said, yeah, yes, it was beneficial. Yeah, okay, all right, it helped us out. Well, we're going to change it again against the American dollar. Yeah. Oh, okay. And the whole world, all the other gurus said, "Oh no, look, they're saying that they're not going to change the the USD exchange rate against the Iraqi dinar." Yeah, that's right. The CBI has no authority to change the exchange rate of the American dollar. You silly rabbit. They told you the truth. Problem is you didn't understand what they were saying. What they were trying to tell you is that this is the time to change the exchange rate of our dinar. Why? Then the next news that came out was, oh, by the way, hold on. Melanie Wigg. Oh, wow, Melanie Wigg, thank you. Thank you. Huh?
Wiggins.
Wiggins. Oh, the rest of it is cut off. Okay, then it's Melanie Wiggins. Muchísimas gracias. Thank you very kindly. Thank you for your financial contribution. So at that time, yeah, Iranian leaders were weak and they got jealous. They tried to fight back. Things backfired. They made a big mistake. They got weaker. The Iranian citizens fought back and they looked over at their brothers and sisters in Iraq, and they said, we can do that. They've been doing that. Meanwhile, the governor of the CBI comes out and he teaches the monetary reform to the citizens, starting with the whole idea that, you know what we did in December of last year? We're going to do it again, but this time against our exchange rate. We're not going to change the American, or excuse me, the USD exchange rate against our currency. Okay, thank you. And it was misunderstood. We tried to explain it to you. You understood it. And now the articles that are coming out are saying, hey, Mustafa Galay, the governor of the CBI, wants you to know that we're going to float. No. Yeah, we're going to float. You got to be international. You got to be Article 8. You got to have no sanctions on you. That's right. That's us. Wow. I can't directly tell you that we changed it. I can indirectly tell you. So if I tell you we're going to float, what are all the things that are required to float? And you don't think we did this in order for me to tell you we're going to float? Of course we are. And then on top of that, we're going to depeg. Talk to me about pegging. Aye, Captain. Me and my peg here and my parrot. Oh, wrong peg. Well, anyways, we're going to depeg from the American dollar when we float. And we're going to enter a basket. Get out of here. Now, family, all of this is in the final article thread. Everything I'm telling you, chronologically, I told you, in my opinion, solely in my opinion, they had all the articles they ever wanted, all of them already printed, all of them. How about the new small category notes? They're all printed. Yeah. Well, what about the new 20K note? Is that going to cost? Is it going to take time to print it? Those were printed a long time ago. And the articles were released chronologically as... Oh, stop. Okay, what's wrong? I got some riots in the street. All right. Ring a ding ding. Hello? Oh, Mustafa. Gale. Yeah, CBI governor. What? Oh, go. Okay. See that, citizens? Yeah. Came out as the CBI felt that it was okay to do so. In the meantime, Kazemi was dealing with Sadr. Hey, Sadr, what's up? I don't want to talk to you. What do you mean you don't want to talk to me? I just don't want to talk to you. I told you from the very beginning. Whew, that's hot. They got some friction between them, don't they? Yeah. Sadr says, boo to the USA. Kazemi says, hey, I like the USA. What's the matter? It's forget about it, okay? Don't worry about it. Sadr says, no to the government. I'm going to resign. Kazemi says, brother, what are you talking about, resign? Look, you take advantage. I got the government, okay? You know, everything's all set, for crying out loud. Just tell the citizens that you're okay with me and my government, okay? Citizens of Iraq, I'm resigning. What? Dude, I told you to tell them that you're going to introduce my government. No. Why not, Sadr? I want my people there. Seriously, Sadr, they are your people. They're their people. Didn't you want to work with me for the people of Iraq? Yes, I do. Well, then stop being such a female dog and get your butt out there and talk to the people. All right. Citizens, no protest. No protest. No protest. Get back inside. Get back. Now! Okay. Is that what you want, Kazemi? Everything's cool now, okay? Yeah. You talking to the framework, Sadr? Maybe not. Dude, don't play with me, man. Are you talking with him? Are you making deals that I don't know about? That you're gonna surprise me with, and I'm gonna have to agree with? Maybe yes, maybe no. Sadr, and that's the latest of the soap opera, where the sand continues to pour forever and ever. I've just given you a synopsis of what's happened since November of last year to this point. And now, oh, stop! It's time to show you another new article in the sequence of the chronological articles that were established by the CBI and Kazemi over a year ago and are being released as needed to introduce the monetary reform to introduce the education of the monetary reform of the IQD. Pretty good, huh? So what was that article, Frank? It's in our final article thread. It's the one where they're talking about I'm just having too much fun here. Coins. Spare a quarter for a hamburger until next Thursday. Coins. Now look at your notes. Go on. Go look at your notes. What were one of the things that they were going to educate them about? We called it what? Oh, look at Kathy. Golly, that's quick. And look at Claire. Look at Robin. That's right. But Kathy says fills. Yeah, they're starting to fill in the gaps, aren't they, with fills. And what I mean by that is that we told you that they would teach the citizens about their coins. And we also said that the coins would be at the very, very, very end of the monetary reform. Remember that? And we even said that the coins would be introduced after they introduced the new small category notes. Remember that? Why? Because fractional banking is not the way to go at the onset. And they talked to them about their coins. What did I talk to you about? What did Walking Stick and I talk to you about last week? Post it. Come on, post it. What currency did we talk to you about? Because the Central Bank of Iraq, Mustafa Galay, the governor, comes out and he says, "Hello, citizens of Iraq, I'd like to tell you that we are canceling the 25K note. We are going to replace it with a 20K note." Why? Well, because the international community, especially around us here in the Arab community world, they all just use a 20K. It's very rare to see a 25. And because we're going to be part of the international community, and that right, AMF, we're soon to be entering a basket as well, too. Hey, we just want to be on par internationally with the currency with everybody else. That's all. Well, that's pretty good. Yes, it is. And all of a sudden, oh, here we go. I like silver, 20K, reduce the threes, 2Ds, no. What currency? Now, granted, I talked to you about the 20K, no doubt, but what currencies? All right, let me just get straight to the point. It was last week that Walking Stick and I reintroduced to you, because they introduced the 20. The 1, the 5, the 10, the 20, etc., etc., etc. What was missing? What did Walking Stick and I not talk to you about? What was missing? What did Walking Stick and I not talk to you about last week? The Central Bank of Iraq talked to the citizens of Iraq about a 20K note that they would be replacing their 25K note. You got to help me remember my questions, Jen. I'm struggling. Now, I just asked them, what did we not talk to you about last week. Okay, Christine says the coins. Yeah, well, that's cheating because we're talking about it now. Family, what we did not talk to you about last week was okay, you're all putting 20, 50, 100K notes. There's 20. All right, way to go. Was it Michael? Michael Madigan? Madigan? Yeah, way to go, Michael Madigan. I never talked to you about the 250, the 100, or the 500. I never talked to you about the small three category notes. Now, they don't all have three zeros. Some have two zeros, some have one zero. But I didn't talk to you about the small three zero notes. I talked to you about the 1,000 and above that would drop the three zeros and become a 1, a 5, a 10, a 20, a 100. But why didn't I talk to you about the 250, the 500? Why not? Now, the reason why, family, is because those are your coins. Those are your coins. You'll have a quarter, you have a 50-cent piece, you have a 75 cent, you'll even have a 1 dinar coin. Now, I'm not going to drag this out too long for you, but I am going to tell you what Walking Stick and I would like for you to remember. This next statement is very powerful. Claire, I put this statement in last night at 10:30 in the evening in premium. You might have missed it, Claire. So with that in mind, either go back and find it or listen to what I'm about to say and use this in our form. Ladies and gentlemen, KTFA family, the CBI, the governor of the Central Bank of Iraq, they took out over 20 years ago the coins due to a rate change that would make those coins worthless. Now, the CBI brings back, reintroduces coins, fills to the citizens of Iraq. Why? Because, again, a rate change is occurring. The 1, the 5, the 10, the 20, the 50, the 100. We told you about these last week. So did the CBI. But the monetary reform education marches on the next page with coin education to the citizens of Iraq, exactly the way Walking Stick and I told you it was going to happen. Now listen, this is powerful right here. And up to there, Claire, that would be good if you want to reprint that over and over again. But this is also powerful. Walking Stick said, Frank, this article in itself tells you a rate change has occurred. And then he said, or is coming to a bank near you soon. And he chuckled. Family, yeah, this is an introduction to fractional banking in this phase of the education of the monetary reform to the citizens, but it doesn't mean that it's going to start right away. More than likely, the coins will come later. All of this is exactly what Walking Stick and I told you that we would see from the CBI. And we're just extremely happy to see it now. It just tells us how close we are. We knew all these things. We couldn't tell you these things. They had to tell you. As we saw them getting closer to them, we're happy about it. How many more articles do you think that there are? It is important that the citizens of Iraq be educated on the power of less than a dinar. It is important that the citizens of Iraq are educated on the power of less than a dinar. They're getting ripped off left and right in the markets, in the streets, by the government, by their bills, whatever. When they introduce this part into the monetary reform, citizens will be able to get back exact change and not lose anything. Nothing. This is important in the monetary reform because these citizens have never seen coins. The young blood that's out in the street right now, the 20 to 25-year-olds that are out there screaming and fighting and telling Iranian people, get out of my country, they don't even know what a coin is for their country. Anyways, that's my report tonight to you. That's my report tonight to you. 1 dinar is 1,000 fils, and they're teaching the citizens of Iraq from 1,000 fils all the way down to 1 fil, that a change can be given back due to a change in their exchange rate. In a second set of books for eyes unseen, and soon seen by all eyes of Iraq and the world. Thank you kindly for coming and being with us tonight. I love you. God bless you. I wish you well. Pray for each other. Support each other. Lift each other. Love each other. Trust in God. Trust in God. Pray to Him. Pray to Him. Pray to Him. Pray to Him. You can call it pray to Him. I can also tell you, just talk to Him. You're driving in the car, talk to Him. You don't have to get on your knees, close your eyes, and fold your hands. You're walking down the hallway in your home, talk to Him. You're walking outside cutting your grass, talk to Him. Just talk to God. Trust me, He's there. I remember reading in the Bible one of the prophets that was going to be attacked, and he all of a sudden he's like, wow, God gave him the ability to see beyond this realm, beyond the realm that you and I know as the physical realm. There is the spiritual realm, and his eyes were open, and he's like, oh my goodness, there are angels, there are angels around me that are in position to defend me from the demons that are about to attack me. Wow, praise God. Yeah. You don't have to have those spiritual eyes. Just have that spiritual heart. Believe. Believe in Jesus Christ and His Father and the Holy Spirit. And through them I leave you in peace. God bless you. God bless you. God bless you. I'll see you again on Monday when we talk some more. Aloha. Aloha no ke'e, because you are. Bye-bye.
Goodbye.
Water. Water. Cookie water. Gross.
It's kind of crunchy.
Blech.
Yeah. It's kind of chunky.
Blech.
It's hard to get it up the straw, though. Oh, look what happened. Oh, you missed it. It shut down the image.
Oh.
So I think that's an omen for me to go.
Say thank you to Dr. Thunder.
Oh, there's another one? Did I miss one? Dr. Thunder! Thank you, sir. Thank you for your financial contribution. God bless you. I'm glad we saw that before we say goodbye. Y'all take care. I'll catch you when they throw you.
Bible study tomorrow night.
Bible study tomorrow, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard.